On this week's episode of the Superhero Show, we'll find out if My Adventures with Superman can give us the new best TV Superman, if Secret Invasion can do some twists and turns that are actually twisty and turny, and we'll find out what definitely is the most iconic moment from X-Men the Animated Series. All of that and more on an all-new episode of a Superhero Show. What's up, nerds? Welcome to the Superhero Show, the only show on the internet that reviews every single live-action television show based on a comic book, as well as some of the animated ones. My name is Cassie, and I will be the host for this episode. And guys, just like cycle 20 of America's Next Top Model, the boys are in the house tonight. That's right. First of all, I got Ryan here.
What the fuck did you just say? Wait, I'm sorry. Season? So we don't say season anymore. We say cycle.
At least
cycle
20.
Cycle 20 is boys now?
Boys were in the house, Ryan. Boys in the house. They had the little song that it normally was, and then somebody just came over the mic and said, boys in the house, every time. It was beautiful and perfect. The boys were in the house. It changed up everything. And I've never been the same since.
Have you ever opened up a book of poetry before? Have you read one poem in your entire... Do you know what art is? This is what beauty is to you?
Yes. It's beautiful and perfect. Like the two beautiful boys who stand before me. I have two pictures in front of me. Only one can move on.
Who is the host of this season? Bigfoot, the monster truck?
Bigfoot isn't a fucking monster truck. You put some respect on their names, okay?
Wait, it's not a monster truck?
Bigfoot?
Bigfoot.
Nah, bro. Too obvious.
What? I think Bigfoot is a monster truck, but there's also the Sasquatch named Bigfoot.
Is Bigfoot a monster truck? Hold on.
This is your
is the
people's
monster
culture,
truck.
Cassie.
What? There's no fucking way. This is Mike who's trying to come and step to me on a monster truck right now.
Mike, if I told you right now, name a monster truck, what would you say?
Fucking Bigfoot.
Yeah, it's Bigfoot.
It's one from 1974. It's not even fucking around anymore.
What's your monster truck?
No one's fucking around anymore.
This is serious fucking business. Monster Mutt is my grave.
Monster Mutt?
Gravedigger.
Okay, now we can
yeah.
Yeah, Gravedigger's the big guy, but fucking Monster Mutt is my homie. So, anyway, this is
trash.
a podcast.
Monster Mutt is a fucking homeless monster truck that lives behind buildings and finds oil in the dumpster.
There's spin-offs of Monster Mutt now. Like Monster Mutt used to be just like a mixed breed. Now there's like a Dalmatian one. Like they've got specifics. There's multiple.
Oh no, your generation is definitely
there.
better than ours. Yeah, for sure.
Okay.
Monster
all
Mutt
right.
gives tired tread HJs for fucking gasoline huffs.
Jim Gasoline.
And he's putting the work out there, and I respect him for it. All right. What is Bigfoot? Bigfoot can't do anything, guys. I don't even see a special move. Like all he did.
What
was
is
fucking
special
drive
movies?
What do you mean
over-
special
He
move?
runs over little cars.
Like
What was
tap
his
its elbow
combination?
twice and then dive onto cars?
Do you know what I love about our podcast? It will bring you from America's Top Model to monster trucks. We cover all of pop culture here. Ryan even mentioned poetry.
He mentioned it, but I don't
he
know
didn't
anything
say
about
like
it. So
Robert
I can't-
Frost or Ada Limon, but he mentioned poetry exists.
Yeah, but there you go. You threw out some names, so
Well,
we
yeah, I
covered it all.
gotta jump this shit up in society a little. I can't talk. I can't.
Well, Mike, I have terrible news for you. You're going to have to talk because we do have a big podcast ahead of us.
Oh, good.
That's because we're going to cover The Walking Dead, Dead City, Secret Invasions, and we have to figure out what the best moment of X-Taz is. But before we get to all of that, let's talk about My Adventure with Superman.
Cassie hung out with Superman?
I did, dude. On the first two episodes of My Adventure with Superman, Clark just wants to be a normal man and has been hiding his powers and refused to learn more about his identity since childhood. This all changes when he and his best friend become the newest interns at the Daily Planet and are taken, somewhat forcibly, under the wing of head intern and feisty rule breaker Lois Lane. The trio get in over their head, tracking a terrorist group who steal some evil robots, and Clark embraces who he truly is. Meanwhile, Lois and Clark do some heavy flirting. Taste buds, I ask you this. How does this anime and webtoon-inspired series origin of Superman compare to what's come before?
Oh, I mean, what's come before? How many Supermans have we seen before? Like, there's a lot.
At least 2.
At least two. Maybe more. I read a thing the other day, and I cannot give credit because I don't remember, and I apologize to this person. But what they said was, if you want to make a Superman story interesting, then you have Lois fall in love with Clark, and then find out he's Superman. And if you want to make it boring, like DC stories mostly are, she falls in love with Superman, and then finds out that he's also the person you've been working with for a long time. That's what this show does. That's why it's interesting. And guys, I hate to say it, but this is a Marvel show with DC characters. This is about the personalities first and the capes and flights later. And I think that this show would make Zack Snyder throw up all over his shirt. And that is why I love it. I'm going to come out and say that I love it.
You are so right in every way, Ryan. I fucking loved this show. And yes, it was when Clark and Lois blush at each other because they're both being like young, dumb 20-year-olds.
Oh, you mean the 3 red lines on their cheeks?
Yeah, in the donut shop. I was like, oh, I'm going to like this show. There's little stuff like, how many ways can you re-show the origin? And so they're changing it in little ways. So him and his parents were like, hey, let's learn about your alien heritage. And instantly went, nope, when it got a little scary.
I love how Ma Kent was like, fuck this forever.
And then like, and this is so dumb, and I'm trying to get over these parts of me where like she didn't make his costume, which she always does, and I do think that's one of the best parts of Superman and Lois, is the flashback where a little kid's like, nice costume, and he's like, thanks, my mom made it. That's the kind of shit that's like, this counts as canon, fuck that shit. And then she did decide that we don't see it, but it's so clear that his alien costume just highlighted his big old super dick, because she's like, well, it might need shorts.
Yeah. She just made some underwear for him and threw him over.
That's the hardest part about being a mom with a big dicked kid.
You're not allowed to admire it.
You can't just take a knee and stare at it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. It's not just the Lois falling in love with Clark. But I think that is indicative of everything about it. It is the character work between each character has a different relationship with every character, and this dumb, silly cartoon cares about that.
What we always want from Clark specifically is for him to be a giant nerd. This one's got nerdy-ass Clark down. Like, this guy is just a fucking goofball walking around with big old muscles, and it's perfect.
It seems like that based on history, they put the glasses on Clark to hide the fact that he's not Superman, right?
Right.
Clark, but no, the glasses are there so he has something to push up when he says, Lois, I don't think we should do that.
There's a Lois line that made me guffaw alone watching this child's cartoon. And at this point, it's just her and Jimmy Olsen. And she says, what is wrong with your dumb, beautiful coward of a best friend? And just like, the voice acting in the show is great. The writing is solid.
Is it made for kids? I was trying to figure this out the whole time because it doesn't fully seem like it is, but then sometimes it does.
It's not made for 2.5-year-olds.
Mm-hmm.
So
it's not Batwheels.
It's not Batwheels,
Nothing
which is made for
Bat
Cassie
Wheels.
and 2.5-year-olds.
Nothing is.
But I did do this, I will say, if I can pull back the curtain a little bit. I did this as a family viewing. Me, my 2.5-year-old daughter, and my wife. And my daughter was out immediately. Mm-hmm. Me and my wife were like, holy shit, this is fucking awesome. And then we'll get to it. But the second episode, I found out, based on the villain, that my wife watched all of Estaz and knew who Livewire was. I had no idea she had any of that information.
What?
Yeah,
I love your wife. That makes
moment.
me like her even more. Because, at a certain point, and this is, again, I'm a nerd, partway towards the end of the first episode, beginning of the second, I was like, holy shit, is this Livewire? Who I mostly know from Supergirl, a show we watched because of this. I love our life.
Oh, sorry, go right.
No, you.
I was just going to talk about the animation style because it is like the first time we're getting into this kind of anime-ish. Mm-hmm. How were you? Do you guys used to this art style where you didn't have to like adjust to it, or how are you feeling about it?
I was a butthole as a kid.
Okay.
And so if stuff looked like this, I was out.
Yeah.
In my ripe old age of 29, I've decided that good stories is good stories, and I'm no longer bothered by this. And plus, all cartoons are this these days. Like, this is fully it. But I did, when Livewire was becoming Livewire, it was the most Dragon Ball Z thing I've seen out of Dragon Ball Z. Her hair went white straight up. There's a glowing ball around her. I went, okay. But I do blame Dragon Ball Z for why I hated all this shit for so long. My brothers were super into it. I'd only see it in the summers. And I'd go and have to watch them watch the most boring cartoon in the world where people stared at each other in an arena thinking about fighting soon for 4 fucking episodes.
I love how Power Rangers fans are like, Dragon Ball Z sucks, and how Ninja Turtle fans are like, Power Rangers suck, and so on, all
It's
throughout
an age
time.
thing. And also, my cast of SNL is the best.
I definitely there's animation things that like are not new, right? We're all used to this at this point, but not like the S-Taz or B-Taz or X-Taz. Thank you for naming every cartoon that we grew up with the animated series. So we have that cute little shortening there. But it's not that same animation style, but what they're taking from anime and what they're taking from more Western animation and bringing together, we can all speak the same language.
Right.
You know, like there's a lot of when Lois is surprised and her eyes go wide, right? We sense that like that's anime, but there's so much other stuff. When Superman, or not Superman yet, but like he's got the fireman's coat on,
that's dope.
and he's flying towards lasers, but there's no background anymore. It's all just yellow lights and orange surprises. We can see that that's that, but the storytelling is for all, I think.
Right.
I don't think it's Western or, anime. I think that it's like this is like everyone can sit down and watch this. And I think that it's a perfect thing for people who think that anime is too much. I think that it's a perfect thing to get into anime. Mm-hmm. If you watch this and you're like, I like certain aspects of this, right, I can now go and watch. I can go from this to Totoro to Dragon Ball Z. Like, it all works together.
And I think it's like, so 2.5 might be too young, but I also think if this is so it crosses demographics in every way. So an age range, because I bet I could see like 6 and 7-year-olds being into this.
Yes, for sure. Mm-hmm. I just think there's so much incredible character work
there really
that kids don't care about, Like, this is the show that made me realize that, like, Lois is the way she is, not to be an interesting character, but instead because we don't all get to have our perfect morals and ethics like Superman does, because Superman has the powers to back those perfect morals and ethics up. Sometimes Lois has to cheat or, like, not go against her morals and ethics, but have off morals and off ethics because she doesn't have fucking superpowers. And Clark Kent gets to always stay on the straight and narrow because he does.
Well, she's chaotic good.
Exactly. And this show like sort of proved that to me more than the thousands of other Supermen I have seen in my life.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that scene where he's like lecturing her about like how he lied, like she's wrong just because she lied to get them on the mission. Like there's this full thing where he's like, you're wrong and it's bad because you lied to me and that's the only reason. And I was like, oh, I get Superman. I get what he's about.
But then Superman flies away and Jimmy's like, whatever. I get it.
Well, and that's showing like, because Jimmy is probably a step in between Clark and Lois, but it's very fun to be, this guy is right, there are aliens and his roommate is one and he's an idiot at the same time.
Yeah. It's fun to have that character not be like a Cisco and not be annoying as fuck. Like he's still
the writing's good.
So yeah, I guess the writing's good.
The only actor I'm super familiar with, I'm starting to get closer to at least Mike's personal Hall of Fame, if not at some point push into the Pop Filter Hall of Fame, is Jack Quaid plays Superman. He is the star of The Boys. He was in Scream 5. He is not Randy Quaid. What's the good Quaid? Dennis Quaid's son. But he's proven that he's not just Dennis Quaid's son. Like this guy is. It's so hard to be a good actor and a good voice actor, and I think he imbues so much Clark. And I have this power, but I'm vulnerable and I don't know what to do with it. All of it, I thought the acting was superb.
Do you know what I think he has is, and this is like, he's the star of this, he's the star of The Boys, like you said. He was the star of a rom-com with the girl from Pen 15, the woman from Pen 15. He's been in a lot of stuff. And I think what he's giving is this generation's Michael J. Fox. Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
Like, my voice is going to break a little bit, but, like, I want to do what's right. I'm just not really sure, and that's so likable. Like,
Yes.
whatever side of the law he's on, we're just going to be rooting for him. And Superman is always cast with, like, hair first or eyes first. And when it's a voice actor, you can sort of cast with, like, you give this thing first,
Yeah.
Just in your voice, there's this thing. And it's so much better than if they cast, like, somebody with just a deep voice.
And a bod,
Right.
Ryan. Don't forget the bod.
And a bod. And a six-pack. Jack Quaid, you don't have no six-pack. Get the fuck out of here.
No, Jack Quaid is more like Kid Flash body type.
There is that, what's that, shit, the guttural thing. There's an English term for it where the
Glottal
end-
stop.
Yeah, there is that, Jack Quaid.
Jack
Where Jack Quaid. He should cut the QU off his last name, I think.
Yes, just be Jack Quaid.
Jack Quaid.
And then people won't be like, do you know this is not Randy Quaid's kid, but the other one?
That is his uncle, though.
And Meg Ryan, are those his parents?
That's his mom, yeah.
What a fucker.
What a fucker, dude.
But he's good and he's never let me down. And we've seen Stephen Amell and Grant Gustin voice act and a lot of the other CW people, and it was rough. They forgot what they were good at.
Not to go on too much of a tangent, but did you guys see that Jack Quaid is the voice of a cartoon on a Star Trek show?
Lower Decks.
On Lower Decks. And
Yeah.
in this next Strange New World season, they bring the Lower Decks people to the thing, and Tawny Newsome and Jack Quaid are live in person on the show.
That's so
That's
cool.
fun.
That's the kind of fun Star Trek used to have, and I feel like hasn't had fun in 20 years.
Luckily, they drew those cartoon characters to look exactly like the people who voiced them. So that's nice.
That is
That's
nice.
awesome. Back to my adventures with Superman. Not my Cassie, but our collective my. There is the one thing, and I guess it was just me being nitpicky. I'm confused about how he figures out his powers or his control on powers. Like, especially in the beginning, like he's breaking door handles and stuff and breaking his shoes, but then he can do everyday stuff too, and also still have superpowers. Like, there's this line of I don't know where he's at with his powers.
I think that the show has set up a formula where we're going to get 6 minutes of flashback in every episode of him learning this with 20 minutes of modern day stuff. So 6 minutes of him in his fucking Stussy shirt.
So good.
And 20. So I think that we'll learn how he got to get used to his powers as we're watching his modern day Metropolis adventures.
And even though they're probably in their early 20s in Metropolis, I do think it's a great puberty allegory. And so sometimes he is just a normal person walking through the world, and sometimes he's ripping door handles off and can't hide his boner.
I would love if for the whole season they were like, man, we're so young and we can't afford a house. And then we find out that these Metropolisians are millennials, and they turn out to be 44 and 45 years old.
And we're interns. Oh, that would hurt. What a true nightmare.
The ultimate Superman villain, capitalism.
For the second episode, we got more of I'll say our bad guys. Is there either one that you guys are leaning more towards? Are you excited to get more of these?
Well, what I like is what it's setting up as my favorite kind of shit is there's going to be a Freak of the Week. So Livewire, the Leslie who became Livewire is one of them. But then there's going to be the real big bad who obviously Superman won't meet for a while. And it is, I don't know if you guys saw in the left corner, because the white super anime guy with the white emo bangs was talking the most. But Amanda Waller was there.
Yeah.
It's Task Force X. And Amanda Waller is... Nick Fury, Marvel's tried to always be like, he does shady stuff, but he's actually a good guy. And DC, it's one of the few things DC does right, is she always works for the government. She's an evil piece of garbage.
I appreciate that as Viola Davis has taken over the role, the cartoons have sort of slimmed her down. But back in the day, she was 400 pounds.
Her name was The Wall, Ryan. Amanda the Wall Waller.
Part of her evilness is just that she was upset because she was fat. But my subtitles ruined it. I always have to have subtitles.
Yeah.
And what happened was Livewire, before she became Livewire, was sitting there talking to somebody voiced by Chris Parnell, Dr.
Really?
Spaceman, and it said Slade. And
Slade?
so then
That's
Slade.
who's. Oh, damn.
And so then I knew that she was talking to Deathstroke, who is not just going to be like a normal government employee.
No.
This is what I do.
Doing his
So
own
yeah,
thing.
clearly they were like, hey, Livewire, do you want to be on this cartoon's version of Suicide Squad or whatever? Evil FBI, basically. But Mike,
FBI.
who was...
You could just say FBI.
I could just say
synonymous.
FBI. At the end, it was Slade.
Uh-huh.
And then to the left was Amanda Waller. Who was the chubby guy to the right?
I don't know.
Was it Fat Elvis? Did he
might
not
have been-
die? And he became part of
this
Task
is
Force
just
X?
Fat Elvis. The toilet didn't win in this universe.
Now, the whole poster for this show, it just said the toilet didn't win, and we're supposed to figure out what that means.
Oh, one of the bad guys is Fat Elvis. I get it, guys.
I'm Fat Elvis.
Should we go to moments of the week?
Absolutely.
All right, Ryan, let's start with you. What's yours?
I have to, I'm sorry, guys, I'm biased, but when my daughter, it was Lois running up, realizing that the giant bins that controlled the robots, you just put there was no fingerprint thing.
Yeah.
Literally anybody's hand could touch them and they would shut off. And that got my daughter's attention more than anything. So that's going to be my moment of the week. And also, if I could throw my opinion in there, as soon as you touch the screen, the robot just fucking fell over. That
Yes.
was it.
So
That was all
good.
you needed. It was awesome.
Do you know what's awesome is that the other robots notice and are pissed about it. And so they're trying to kill whoever's shutting them down.
But there's the thing I love with Superman stories where it's not about Superman having every power. It's about figuring out how Lois is as powerful
Right.
as he is.
And as
so
brave.
and as brave and as smart. And that's what keeps it interesting is how is Lois going to figure this out? And that's what this episode was. So
Well-
daughter, please watch this.
When you're as strong as Superman, you're just going to literally punch everything. And he just keeps getting his ass kicked and keeps just trying to punch his way out. And Lois has the time to sit back and be like, wait a minute.
It might describe every male-female relationship you've ever known.
A lot of abusive dudes. When the robots are being unleashed, that song went fucking hard. I was
Yeah.
like, I'm going to look up the My Adventures of Superman soundtrack.
Was it the guy who did Avengers Assemble?
Probably. That song slaps. That's what we're doing soon. We're going to do Avengers Assemble.
It's so much passion behind that. Mike, what's your moment of the week?
In the second episode, Clark has been like, I gotta learn who I am. And he's starting to dig it up, and Ma Kent's like, no. And then Pa Kent, he says, what's not to like about a boy digging up his childhood spaceship? It's the most natural thing in the world. I was like, I'm so in the hook for this show.
And then he just leaves because he doesn't want to deal with all of it. He's just like, well, I gotta go.
Yeah, he's like, Martha's going to be pissed, so I'm out. I'll
Yeah.
go take care of farm shit.
Do we talk about the fact that I think it was the end of the first episode, maybe the second, where Clark looks around, sees how the street is absolutely decimated, and then repairs the entire thing?
Yeah.
Which is akin to where he's in that hole in Smallville and a bunch of crazy shit happens. So he goes back, freaks out, and then just very quickly throws dirt all over it. Like, oh my God, that's like the same as like, if I get under the covers before the
Right.
monster gets me, I am safe.
And is shot or drawn like the vibes of like TGIF level sitcom of parents are coming home, clean up the house from the party.
Yeah.
And then when he redigs it up, he's like, wait, is this bigger? You're like,
Yeah.
yeah, bro. Yeah, that's how it works.
What? Yeah, that's how you left it, parents.
My moment of the week is just it opening to young Clark, and he has that shitty S drawn on his shirt. Like, yes, it's Superman, but here's this shitty S that everybody draws, and that's on his shirt. Fucking
Hey,
good.
dickhead, it's a Stussy. Put some
Sorry.
respect on its name.
We
called-
had that fucking Stussy.
It's called
Moment of
Cool
the week.
S if you were born past the time that Stussy was around.
Yeah, it's just that cool S that everybody knew how to draw.
Why is there so much Stussy representation, and where's the Massimo representation? That's what I want to know.
Or no fear.
Where's the no fear?
That's the episode where Clark needs to learn that he should fear things. He wears the no fear shirt, and he's like, wait, I'm a big dog at heart.
Where's the villain named Body Glove, and he doesn't know how to beat him, but there's a big hand on his back, and he slaps him in the back as hard as he can. Where's the hypercolor villain?
We all grew up shopping at Mervin's.
All right, guys, that's all the time we have to talk about Superman and Lois. It is on HBO. It's on Max on a day. I apologize for not looking that up. But
Thursday.
Friday.
Thank you. Guess what I do have time to talk about? It's Cybersprout, and I have time to talk about, Ryan, your big idea, your big website idea. Go ahead and drop it.
Well, Mike already spilled the beans a little bit, Mike. So if you want to do this together, we can. But fuck Coles forever.
Fuck Coles.
We are Mervin's boys, and we are opening Mervins.com, where you can get all of the classic Mervin shit you miss.
Coles is like some of the styles of Mervin's, but with the vibe of Marshall's, and that's gross. Mervin's was cool.
Do you know what? We're starting this new campaign. Maybe you should ask Santa for Mervin's because you're tired of getting Coles in your stocking.
Oh, that's why you're my partner. You come with gold just off the top of your dome all the time.
So, Cassie, you probably don't know what Mervin's is, but on Mervins.com, me and Mike's new website, you could get a T-shirt with the dinosaur skateboarding saying out of his mouth, "Cowabunga, bro." And that is a wedding dress that you can wear on your wedding.
The fattest orange soda in his little hand.
Honestly, I hated the name Mervin's, and it was hard to get on board, but you guys just sold me with this beautiful shirt.
Mervin's was great. Before Target became people's personality.
Yeah. What? When did that happen, by the way? Oh, gotta go to Target.
Right after bacon was people's personality, it was Target. You'd be like, well, I need like my sundries, I go to Target. But if I need dope kicks and clothes, I go to motherfucking Mervin's, Mom, back to school.
Hey, Cassie, how about this? How about a hat? On the front of it is a dinosaur wearing a beanie that's a propeller with a propeller on top, but the hat that you're wearing is also a beanie with a propeller on top.
How about this? You go to the shoe section. They look like Converse. They're not. They're much cheaper in every meaning of the word. But on those Converse, there's a dinosaur wearing real Converse All-Stars.
No, quick question. All dinosaur based? Was that kind of Mervin's thing?
Mostly that. This was Jurassic Park time, so yeah, mostly dinosaur based.
Gotcha.
It was wave. But again, let us not forget the big dog era.
Oh, Mike, I'd never forget the big dog era.
Cassie, how about this? What about on this website you can buy straight like you could do from Mervin's a bucket of avocado, but on the front of it says dinosaur barf, and on the back of it is a dinosaur throwing up, and like it looks like it's going into the top of the bucket, creating more guacamole for you and your family. Is that something you would be interested in?
I mean, obviously, yes. And this is real guacamole?
No, it's fake guacamole.
It's fake guacamole, Cassie. Come on.
Obviously, okay,
You're
sorry.
being a child.
That's on me.
What
I'm
about
sorry.
this? Jeans, they're not skinny jeans, but they're not like Jenko jeans. But they have right under the knee a fat extra denim loop where one would hang a hammer, but there's a dinosaur print right there, and it's being like, oh, doinks, because it dropped the hammer, and that's why you clearly don't have a claw hammer hanging off your jeans.
How about this shit, Cassie? Go to Mervins.com, okay? Right there on the front page is a Christmas ornament. And that Christmas ornament is a dinosaur crossing his arms and saying, "It's not Christmas at all."
I had that one.
I need to be a certified Mervin's boy with you guys. And I got to send you over to my friends, cybersprout.net. That's because they're going to make you help you build a beautiful website. They work hand in hand with you. They focus on collaboration. They fucking love dinosaurs, and they got easy to edit fields. Certified Mervin's boys, cybersprout.net, your partner for a digital world. Coming up next, it's the pull list. We are back for the pull list. First show starting it off this week is The Walking Dead: Dead City. On the 4th episode of The Walking Dead: Dead City, Maggie and Negan are trying to rescue Herschel from the Croat, which ends up being a trap when the Croat releases a bunch of walkers loose in Madison Square Garden. The group ends up escaping, rescuing both Herschel and Pearlie, but once free, Pearlie threatens to kill Negan for his past crimes. Taste Buds, I ask you, which of us would be your number one draft pick to survive a showdown with the walkers in Madison Square Garden?
Wait, out of the three of us or out of Walking Dead characters? Because I'm picking Madison from Fear the Walking Dead. That's her square garden.
Yeah, she owns it. Or Madison from She-Hulk.
With a Y, but not where you think. Yeah, absolutely, it's Madison. Number one draft pick, you're going through Madison. The Walking Dead is Sundays on AMC. Our next show is Secret Invasion.
On this week's episode of Secret Invasion, we have an action scene. Instead of just having Gravik kill someone at the end of the episode, there's a highway explosion fight with an attempt to kill the president. Oh, and Gravik does kill someone, stabbing a dying Talos. Taste Buds, which twist fell the flattest? Gaia not being dead, Rhodey being a Skrull, Fury's wife not killing Fury, or Talos' murder. Oh, spoiler alert.
They are all racing to the bottom. I think
Like turds in a toilet.
like turds in a toilet. We have
These
different
are
kinds of turds. All I got is floaters. I think Gaia's.
This is not the fucking time for your freestyle rap career, although that was an incredible start to a song, Mike. I do want to say.
That's why the pause was after. He was like, "Do I write this down?
Yeah.
This is good."
This is good.
Do I walk off the stage?
I'm out. My rap career is
No.
taking off right here.
I no longer podcast.
The Gaia one, I think, fell flattest because it was the cold open, and then we never went back to her. So, fuck you. That's just bad storytelling.
Well, at the end of the third episode, Amelia Clark died, and we were
Yes.
like, "Oh, their biggest star is dead, right?"
What if for a whole episode we got to think that?
No,
But no, instead, in the first 30 seconds of this, they're like, "Nah, she did. She gave herself powers," and then we never met up with her again this episode.
It's honestly like listening to a 6-year-old tell a joke. No, wait, hold on. Let me go back. So that one horse is wearing brown shorts.
You need to remember the brown shorts. And by horse, I mean caterpillar. 6-year-old, man, kids suck at telling jokes. What were the other bad twists? Rhodey being a Skrull, I guess, one, because it's a big character but not big enough. And also, he was acting very not Rhodey. He was so much closer
Yeah.
to House of Lies Don Cheadle than Rhodey Don Cheadle.
Yeah, that one I saw just like obviously posted isn't the best way to experience that, but like everyone was just like, I don't have it in me to care. Like this is insane.
I heard a podcaster say about the show, I'm bored by reading the recaps.
Yeah.
What is this, a Walking Dead spinoff?
And then Fury's wife, Skrull Rhodey says, well, you have to
Scrody.
kill Scrody, which is what I call in between my nuts and butthole. You have to kill your husband. And she's like, well, of course. And then they sit down for a delicious breakfast. And then they both shoot at each other. It pans away so we don't know who did it.
Right.
And then she shot into the wall. And they both laugh and laugh and laugh about it.
It's weird to have it feels like sometimes there's writers who came from TV with commercials and writers who didn't, because that feels like a commercial break and then you come back. But when it's instant, you're like, okay. It was a cute
Do you know
ode
how
to Mr.
fucking
and Mrs.
great-
Smith.
What if there was commercials, but the Skrulls had replaced the actors in the commercials, and they started implementing Skrull ideas in the commercials?
That would be next level.
So much better than this show.
Has any other show had such a high first couple episodes and then just precipitous drop every episode since?
Don't believe the question. Don't understand the question.
Never started good. Also,
Oh,
a big word
I guess,
in
yeah,
there.
because you guys, it was confusing last week because you're like, oh, you liked this at first? And then talked about how great you used to like Gravik. So I was like, oh, they were razzing me, but they also liked this at first.
No.
Wow.
I liked the first 2 episodes.
I
Fuck
thought
me,
Gravik
guess.
was handsome.
Yeah.
But then Gravik killed Talos, and
But did he? Because this is the kind of show.
yeah, I don't know.
I think this one he did.
How are you feeling? Like, are you too, like, do you have it in you to watch more? Or now at this point, are you too deep into this one?
Can I say this, Cassie? This show has less stakes than a vegan restaurant.
Oh! Do you want to be on my rap album, Ryan?
I was going to say, you guys got a good team up right now. I'm about to be a solar podcaster.
Cassie, can you handle the rest of the episode?
Yeah, I
Mike
got
and I have
this.
an album to
We
write.
got to drop some tracks. They are fire.
The thing I said did not rhyme with
No.
anything. There was no flow to it, but Mike wants me on his album, and I can't say no.
I liked it. I think there's only 2 more episodes.
Okay.
And
Oh,
what am
yeah.
I going to do? Watch it, Walking Dead, Dead City? So
What am I going to do? There's only 1,549 episodes left of the MCU. So what am I going to do? Quit now?
Well, I'm sorry that I'm trying to be a professional podcaster before Reprise Records picks up my rap album.
He's got to have a fallback.
But we got nothing right now. Yes, I'm going to watch this.
I can't
enough.
believe that your fallback, before you move on to a career that would give you $0, your fallback is a career that gives you $0.
Ryan,
Mike,
this career
you-
gives me less than $0.
Let's go to moments of the week. Ryan, what's yours?
My moment of the week has to be Talos is like, Ben Mendelsohn, get me in there, and I'll break the window for the president's car. He's stuck upside down. Then is he? I'm a Skrull Australian, and I'll break it. And then he starts elbowing it because that's the only thing we can do for the president.
You know what's stronger than guns? Elbows.
Taylor's then shot, stabbed, fucking raped in the ear, and he's still like, and Nick Fury's like, Talos, come on. He's like, oh, I'm sorry. And then is just barely tapping the window with his elbow.
It sounds wild. Mike, what's your moment of the week?
Mine is briefly after. And look, I know that firefights are chaotic and you're not going to notice everything. But
we all know that.
In the middle of random group who looks in one uniform versus random group who looks like another uniform shooting at each other, Gravik and Talos are just standing up. And Talos at this point is fully scrolled out because he's dying. And Gravik changed who he looked like. And nobody notices. They're literally standing in the middle of the quote unquote good guys, I guess. And nobody notices but Nick Fury. They're just having this conversation in the middle of other people who are ignoring them willfully. The show's bad.
Cassie, my other moment of the week is when Talos gets stabbed. All of a sudden, hair starts growing out of one side of his head, and it's very long. Mm-hmm. And then he starts DJing music. And that was Skrullex the entire time.
Fuck yeah.
Oh, my Skrull!
And then Nick Fury screamed what Mike just said.
Honestly,
gotta
now
make a
now
rap
I'm
album.
bored.
But now it's a concept album all about Skrulls.
I can't wait for you guys to blow up. It's like, remember me when you're big, okay? When you guys are big rap stars.
That's the name of the album,
Oh my God,
Cassie.
no.
Wow, rude. But also now I get money because I named the album. So
No, you don't.
fuck
You don't get
guys.
shit. Where's your lawyer? Show me your fucking lawyer.
I got a lawyer on retainer. Objection.
Retainer's just something that you put in your mouth at night.
Sustained.
Overruled.
Shit.
Terms. Secret Invasion is Wednesdays on Disney Plus. That is it for the pull list. It's time for us to figure out the best moment of X-Taz, the animated series. Last week, you guys, we set off on a big mission. We tried to figure out the best moment of X-Taz, the animated series, and we foolishly thought we thought we could do it in one episode, like some fools. It absolutely cannot be done in one episode. There's too many great moments.
Can it be done in 2 episodes?
We're determined. So it's got to happen. We're going to do it. We got halfway through. I'll recap the bracket of what we did move on. We have Wolverine fights Alpha Flight versus Rogue puts her boyfriend in a coma. Next bracket we got Bishop comes to.
But who won? What are you talking about? Who you got to?
No.
These are the ones that moved on that are now teamed up against each other.
Oh, got it. Also, this whole thing is a bracket, Cassie. This is all called a bracket.
But what do you call the little things?
These are battles.
These are battles.
They're
That
battles.
sounds fucking dumb.
Within a round.
That's dumb, bro. When's a round?
Well, we did round 1 before, so this will be
We've
round
done
2.
half of round 1.
We've done half of round 1 because we bracket poorly, but at least know what a bracket is. This whole thing is called a bracket.
Okay, so another challenge that moved on, which we will be figuring out more for later. We have Bishop comes to Westchester, and Jean sacrifices herself to stop the Phoenix.
So those have moved on to round 2.
Those are round 2.
We're about to figure out what else moves on to round 2.
So let's step back into round 1. And as we figure out the rest, I'll move on to round 2. How are these terms, Mike?
I love it.
Perfect.
You're crushing
Great.
it. Habeas corpus.
Round 1, we have Storm defeats
Objection.
the Shadow King. Mike, do you remember Storm defeating big old baddie Shadow King?
Yeah, this is the episode where we learn Storm's like, I have a son. And everyone's like, what? And halfway through, she's like, well, it's my best friend's son that I haven't seen in 20 years. I'm like, all right. You're playing fast and loose with that term son there, Storm.
Or playing fast and loose with that term best friend.
Yeah. You abandon them both.
Or like if your best friend gives you their son, maybe they're not your best friend anymore.
Because they're more of a Rumpelstiltskin character?
Yeah, this is a Rumpelstiltskin situation, of course.
This is a classic Rumpelstiltskin. But yeah, we learned like, oh, claustrophobic, Shadow King's evil, blah, 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 blah. It was great. It was big. Everybody cared.
This is an episode that has a lot to do on the shadow plane or whatever it is. There's like a lot of space and like pew-pews.
Love a
and
pew-pew.
My brain.
Pew-pews.
Whose brain is bigger?
It is one that definitely stands out. Like we talked about before how like some of the characters' backstories really stick with you. Like this is one. It's not really a backstory, but we did find out that she's a Rumpelstiltskin, so that's a backstory. Our next moment, we got Mags and Chuck fight a dinosaur.
Now, look, this can't compete with Storm fighting her, what do you call it, claustrophobia versus the Shadow King. This is Magneto and Chuck in the Savage Land.
Savage Land. He's walking.
Running around a volcano, throwing rocks at a big lizard.
Neither of them have their powers, except the power to walk now.
Yeah, the greatest power of all.
Well, that means I'm powerful as shit.
Suck it, fish.
I'll walk all day.
What?
Go ahead, Mike.
I gotta say, the one that
Did you interrupt Mike to tell him to go ahead?
Fucking power move.
Yeah, that is a real host. You're a regular Rumpelstiltskin, Cassie. The thing that I think about more often, like every other week, just wake up, cold sweat, dead sleep, is Magneto and Charles Xavier running around a little volcano throwing rocks at a big dino.
This is one of those things where it's inexplicable. You try to say this happened in X-Men and you're like, absolutely not. Why was there a dinosaur? Why was this happening? And it's just a moment that like can only happen in a show like this and makes it stand like really close to my heart. And I personally vote for it, but I want to know how you guys are voting. Mike, I'll start with you.
Correct me if I...
Oh, go ahead.
Ryan, you were going to say something.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but there was a whole nother A plot, and the B plot just kept cutting back to the two of them running around this volcano with this dinosaur.
And this is the perfect example of why the X-Men should not be in the MCU. They need their own set of movies that we get this kind of shit. We're never going to get, if they're in the MCU, we're never going to get Magneto and Charles running around a volcano throwing rocks at a dinosaur.
That should be a whole trilogy of movies.
Other things are happening throughout the world, and then everything we don't get the finale to them versus dinosaurs until
What
the end
if
of the
every
trilogy.
post-credit scene for the next 12 movies was just the two of them running around this volcano?
Take all my money, Feige.
All right, Mike, I'm going to go back to you for the vote. Which one's moving on?
I'm going to have to vote for Storm versus Shadow
Wow,
King.
all right.
Yeah, I'm sorry, Cassie. It's gotta be. Like, come on. This dinosaur attack?
All right.
No. This dinosaur had no attitude. It skated on no skateboards.
Yeah, it's never heard of Mervyn's.
All right, you guys, you play right. Our next battle, we have Senator Kelly doing something.
Kelly, she's never heard that word before.
Senator Kelly supports the X-Men. Big cliffhanger there. He supports them. He's down. Versus R.I.P. Pour one out. Morph dies.
Okay. Fuck.
Look.
After years, Senator Kelly's like, wait, the X-Men might be right this time, but not really. I still hate them. Morph dying taught 5-year-old Mike that your favorite characters and best friends can die.
This is when you realize that
And
all your loved ones can disappear from you.
It changed how I approached fiction and I guess real life. But like I didn't know characters could die before this. It blew my little mind. Barney and Bebop never died.
Didn't this happen early on? Like, weren't we introduced to Morph for
Episode 1.
Yeah.
First episode.
Okay, I thought we had at least one episode with Morph. So you saw this fucked up dude for approximately 2 minutes, and we're like, I would die for this guy. And then they took him from
Did
me.
it happen in the first episode? Does Mall Kid eat chili fries?
Does Mall Baby eat chili fries? The first episode's iconic. The Morph is doing annoying voices at the TV, and 5-year-old me really related to that. Nobody wants to sit in the TV room with you, and you just keep repeating everything you're watching. Yes, I get it.
Jesus Christ, Cassie.
God. Mike, how did it feel when you went to school the next day and you were like, can you guys believe Morph died? And everybody was like, fuck yeah, we hate that guy.
Mike went to school with a black armband around his arm.
R.I.P. Morph.
Just in mourning.
It's why my parents moved me from Philly to California. They put me into witness protection program because all the kids hated me so much.
Do you know how many folders of Morph drawings Mike's childhood psychiatrist had in their file?
All right, I think I know where you're going, but Mike, where's your vote?
Fuck Senator Kelly. It's Morph.
Yeah. It's hard to put fucking Senator Kelly in anything. Oh, but Ryan, what are you voting?
I have to agree with Mike, but for different reasons. I was so glad to see that fucking piece of shit die that I have to go with Morph dying.
Even though, Ryan, this is what gives birth to Emo Morph, who looks like normal Morph but has heavy bags under his eyes.
Yeah, no, that's the thing. That's the thing about dying is he was buried in the pet cemetery where you'll come back, but with heavy bags.
Well, specifically for Mike. Mike needed that. You can't have Morph gone forever from this world.
Hurts too much.
Our next battle, Morph is moving on. Morph dying. You continue on in our hearts and in this bracket. Next battle, we got Xavier floats away. Ryan? When's this boy floating away?
So this is the last episode, and Xavier dies, and all the X-Men and all of the audience is like, did he? And then I think it's Lalandra, right? Comes down and says, he didn't. He will float away in a casket of my making. And just like Poochie left this earth, his casket just goes
to his own planet. But it's not just that. It's not a casket. She says he can only live with me and never talk to. I've had friends with wives like
gaslighting.
This. Yeah, he'll be fine, but he can never see any of you again. Oh, really, Bixler?
Again, it's hitting close to home. All right, that's going against Wolvie and Cap team up.
Now, this was a big moment for me.
Yes.
Seeing them both in the costume. And plus, they were both like, we want to talk about Nick Fury and Talos just being like, oh, well, you do it this way. Well, I do it this way. I loved watching Wolvie and Cap being like, oh, well, you do it this way. Oh, well, you do it this way. It sounds the same because the dialogue I used was exact. But
it's WW2. They both have handheld Wolverine claws because he doesn't have his claws yet. They're climbing up the castle. It's great.
Handmade claws together.
But at no point did Cap or Wolvie sit in a casket that went.
But this is such an iconic team up. Like, I feel like this one has to be a Slammy D, but again, there was floating noises with that noise that Ryan's very good at. So let's go to voting. Mike, where are you going?
I can never vote against Captain America. My vote is for Wolvie and Cap in World War II.
And World War II, that's where your real vote's going. Ryan?
Yeah. What side Mike is on, we don't know.
It's unclear.
He loves World War II.
Everybody made some points, okay?
Ryan, what about you?
There's good people on both sides. I'm sorry, Cassie, but I have to go with the fact that not only does Professor X's casket fly away, but it goes away half lecture. So at some point, he's like, I don't remember my X-Men. Always.
So this means I have to be the tiebreaker between these two moments. First time me time breaking, and it's got to go Wolvie and Cap. I'm sorry, Ryan. But they're moving on, these two precious boys. Our next battle, we got Archangel is created. We all remember when he was created, right, Mike?
Yeah, he was just some little rich boy in a ski town. Warren Warrington III, real turd. And then
hold on.
Apocalypse takes
Is
him.
this the start of a new freestyle rap
This
song?
is one of the tracks. Yes. And then Apocalypse takes him, makes him turn to the baddest, coldest motherfucker the 90s ever turned out.
I think this was the second appearance of Warren Worthington III. The first one, he was a ski junkie who is in his ski loft, and he's like, I love to ski. That was it. That was his character. And I'm just a boy. I'm a rich boy with wings. And I believe I can fly.
It's a perfect character.
And then
he's right.
in the next one, they changed him to the Angel of Death. And what does that mean? Pink and purple. Let's cover him in pink and purple.
Oh, shit. Is that where my favorite colors came from? Was this episode?
I think so. I think you think that at some point you went from Mike to Arch Mike.
Arch Mike.
Arch Mike.
That
Artichoke Mike.
Artichoke Mike is my rap name.
Building a whole persona for you. That moment is going against Wolverine and Storm are married.
I love that. Okay, so this is like a future moment, and if Charles Xavier died, right? I think that was the episode.
He died in the 70s or whatever.
Right, and so he was assassinated, and then Wolverine and Storm are like, well, I guess this is Wolverine, by the way, not Storm. Well, I guess we should just die. And then Storm is like, well, that means that will never be married. And that's when we find out. Like, that was a huge moment.
Yeah.
Like, the show has these soap operatical moments of
and
like...
also, the most sexual tension any couple on this show has had is right there.
Of course. Because Scott and Jean...
None.
Married
They've done missionary once.
Didn't enjoy it. Will never have sex again. Scott and Jean bounced their Ken and Barbie genitals on top of each other at
And
one
somehow
time.
came out with 3 illegitimate kids.
Whereas Logan and Aurora with a mohawk fucking fucked. They fucking fuck like they're in the back of a fucking Dunkin' Donuts. All right? So I have to go with that. Like, that's such a great couple.
Ryan saying they fucking fucked erased whatever they're fighting from my head. So I think I also have to vote for that.
All right, so that one is moving on.
It's Artichoke Angel.
Oh, that is my rap name. No, I'm still gonna go with they fucking fucked in the back of a Dunkin' Donuts.
Ladies and gentlemen, you've loved Eminem. You've loved Uncle Cracker. Here he is, Artichoke Angel.
All right, we now have round 2 set. Our first battle of round 2, we have Wolverine fights Alpha Flight versus Rogue puts her boyfriend in a coma.
I haven't seen Rogue gets knocked down by Apocalypse.
Yeah,
It
well, how's
shows
that
her
not?
whole ass.
We haven't talked about the actual most important moment of X-Taz.
Genuinely very surprised it wasn't just like 8 of those entries.
That's coming in at the end, I assume.
Yeah, it's gotta be.
A sleeper hit. Her yelling Cody so much. Yeah, I love Alpha Fight. You know, guys know I love Puck.
Sure, you love Puck.
We
You
know
love
this about
Sasquatch.
you.
The rest.
The rest. But yeah, my vote is Rogue v. Cody.
All right,
Agree.
agreed. Rogue putting her boyfriend in a coma is moving on. Our next battle, we have Bishop comes to see Westchester.
Wow. Wow.
You remember the stinger perfectly.
Future cowboy.
Versus Jean sacrifices herself to stop the Phoenix.
I think that the Bishop storyline was the last one that I watched as a kid. But Jean, the Dark Phoenix thing, like us thinking as children that she's dead, it's got to be Jean.
Okay.
Maybe she's born with it.
Maybe it's
gotta be
Maybelline. We don't know.
Yeah, I'll Dark Phoenix.
Can we get that stinger one more time, though, please?
Wow. Wow.
Thank you. All right, our next battle, we have Storm defeats the Shadow King versus Morph dying.
Is Cassie the Lydia Tarr of this podcast?
Well, she's a real person?
Very real.
Well, of course she's a real person, but like conducting it and like if we don't do it like she wants, then she gets mad at us and like, slaps
furious,
us.
dude.
She smacks our behinds.
A little behinds right in the butthole so it hurts and pops at the same time.
Again, we
It
have
hurts and pops.
Storm defeats the Shadow King versus Morph dying.
Oh, I'm going with the animation here, Cassie. It's Storm.
It's Morph.
Oh, wow.
It's Cassie vote.
Wow. You know what? I'm going to support this. Morph dying. Let's do it. Let's fucking do it. Is that going to work? Yep, it moved on. All right, great. Our next battle, we have Wolverine and Cap team up versus Wolverine and Storm get married. So
So much Wolverine.
a lot of Wolverine. Which story do we care about more, a team up or marriage?
It's that kiss, and it's saying, hey, we had our love. We're going to reset things for the better, but we had our love. It had, like, oh, yeah, whoa, go. Steve Rogers in the show. Okay. It's Wolverine and Storm.
I know I said I could never vote against Captain America, but I'm a liar. It's Wolverine and Mohawk Aurora.
Even though I made that noise, that seems like impossible to vote along with.
know.
I
He
know,
really tried.
but that's the kind of true person and good friend I am.
He really tried to dunk that one. All right, so we are now in, is this semifinals, guys? Semifinals. We have Rogue puts her boyfriend in a coma versus Jean sacrifices herself to stop the Phoenix. These are dramatic moments. It's getting fucking real now.
Rogue is my heart. Rogue is the heart of the show. And Jean Grey is the engine of the show, just to mix metaphors.
Well, cars have hearts. That's why there's Carhartt.
You know what else has hearts? Artichokes do.
Yeah, they do. And that is definitely in my power ballad on my rap album.
Yeah, you want to have one slow power ballad rap. one slow rap.
It's what makes
for
him
the
stands
ladies.
apart from the rest.
I don't know. Mike, you go.
Okay. So what is this bracket title? What are we actually going to? The most memorable,
Iconic.
the best, the most iconic.
But to us, though, like,
Right.
Because the four of us, and Caitlin's not here, but the four of us have watched the entire show. So, like, it's not about, like, Wolverine looking at a picture. It's not about the most memeified.
Right.
It's about, like, what has
Iconic to
impacted
us.
us the most.
And so here's where I think we'll start to separate is I get the Dark Phoenix is so impactful, but I do think Rogue v. Cody
Cody!
is her screaming Cody, because she'll do that. We get this flashback, and it's weird that I guess this is how growing up is. Cody looks different in her memories as the show goes on. It's Rogue throws Cody into a coma for me.
All right, Ryan, do you agree with him?
I don't, Cassie. I'm
you son of a
sorry.
bitch.
Oh, dang.
I think it's Jean sacrificing herself because it really did feel like that she was gone forever. It felt like she up to space in heaven. She didn't, but that's what it felt like at the time. And so, Cassie, I'm sorry.
It's going back to me. I think I'm going to have to agree with Ryan on this one just because it sounds insane to move a coma versus Jean sacrificing herself. So I apologize, Mike. Jean sacrificing herself is going to move on.
Well, Cassie, don't just apologize to Mike, but every coma victim out there you just insulted.
You just said comas don't matter.
You pissed on their
Which
face.
stance to take?
My apologies to everybody, but you got to understand X-Men logic here. Our next battle in the semifinals, we have Storm defeats the Shadow King versus Wolverine and Storm are married.
Okay, so
Storm
now
v. Storm action.
this is an important battle to me because it's about how revolutionary was this show in animation versus how revolutionary was this show in soap operatic storytelling.
Mm-hmm.
That's this battle. And I don't know where to go from here.
If we're talking about the history of this show, nobody talks about it and how revolutionary it was because of animation.
It's a really good point, Mike. That's a really good point.
But the character moments will live on forever.
Yeah, I'm ready to vote.
Ryan, you may vote. Cassie, fuck off.
Okay, fair enough. Fair enough. Artichoke decided. Ryan, vote.
Yeah, I do agree that like we were getting a ton of like weird animation at that time, but the Storm Wolverine thing is that's a kiss that's a kiss that I remember. It's Storm Wolverine. I wish we could be married for longer.
Mike, are you agreeing with him?
Yes.
Oh my gosh. Wow. Slammy D on that one. Slammy D, Wolverine, and...
Cassie, would you have picked the Shadow King?
I think so, just
The
because I
Shadow
feel
Realm?
like it's one that would stand out more. Like, I don't know if you went up to everyone who, like, watched it as a kid or watched it, not as recently as us, which, I mean, is probably the point, that, like, between these two, what stood out to you? I don't know.
I legit think that me and Mike were very weird kids in
Yes,
that
I
an
know
entire
we were.
episode could go by where like Cyclops and Wolverine would destroy the enemy for the last half of the episode. But all we'd remember is that one time where Wolverine and Cyclops hit shoulders in the mansion. Like they just sort of ran into each other and would be like, oh, they don't like each other.
That's how you have friends. Oh, we learn different lessons.
Yeah.
And yet you somehow still found each other as friends. Beautiful. Guys,
I'm not willing to say friends yet.
No, we're frenemies at best.
my apologies. I didn't mean to advance your guys' relationship. But we are on to the finals. And you guys, we have Jean sacrifices herself to stop the Phoenix versus Wolverine and Storm are married. We always knew it would get to these two moments, as I'm sure everyone did.
There's one moment I thought we would get to, and it hasn't
Even come up
even
yet?
in the bracket, so it's all bullshit.
Is it Rogue's butt?
It's Rogue's butt in front of Apocalypse, clearly. It's what's going to be tattooed on my butt. It's an even better looking butt.
I hate to say what I'm about to
Oh,
say.
no.
But Jean Grey died for a short time in the reality that we were watching, whereas Wolverine and Storm kissed in a reality that was different than the one we're watching. And I know that should have no merit, but I'm tired of the multiverse and blah, blah. I have to go with Jean Grey dying.
Wow.
It was a big deal.
All right. Are you going...
It was pirates finding Darkwater level of a big deal.
Don't you fucking bring that into this. Don't you tug at my heartstrings like that. The one other person who can remember that show.
He's really playing dirty.
I understand
Aye.
my esteemed adversary's point. And I unfortunately agree with it. It's not just a doofy dude you barely know dying in episode 1. It is one of our main characters who trips the most and somehow hasn't had a concussion dying and sacrificing herself. It's got to be Jean. Lighting it up like a phoenix. Light it up, up, up. Light it up, up, up. She's on fire.
She is indeed on fire. That makes Jean sacrificing herself the moment of X-Men.
I'm sorry to interrupt, Cassie. I know you're the host and you want to wrap this up, but the second most iconic moment, the first obviously being Apocalypse throws Rogue to the ground
Rogue and splayed out in front of Apocalypse.
But goes right to the camera.
I mean, that's the one that everyone always knows. So we really were just fighting for best second moment, but I'm glad we did do it. I'm glad we spent 2 episodes finding the second best moment of X-Men the animated series.
That's our way.
Light it up, up, up.
Up.
We're on fire.
We're on fucking fire, you guys. And even though we're on fire, I am going to have to ask you guys to leave because it's the end of the show.
Good. I hate it here anyway. I'm out.
Okay, fucking good, Mike.
Gonna go hang out with my real friends.
Great. So Mike's fucking left, which means I can now bring in a real friend here, a real homie, if I could say. Here to talk about websites, I have brought in a French guy who just saw you dip a fresh baguette into nacho cheese straight from the can. French guy who just witnessed this tragedy. Can you please tell me about websites?
Chocolate bleu! How could you have done such a travesty?
What travesty are you talking about?
You took a baguette and you dipped it right in front of nacho cheese, you monster American prick dog.
But baguettes get kind of dry, and sometimes you kind of just need to
Only because you're eating American baguettes. Real French baguettes are so soft and moist.
I'm sorry, Cassie. I should not be out on stage right now. But did he just brag about his bread and then also at the same time called it a braguette?
Yeah, he said that as a fucking...
It's a French saying, yes.
A fucking braguette over here. But no, this braguette says it's hot and ready, so, but it still was a little dry. I needed nacho cheese for it.
What, so are you eating Little Caesar's baguettes with nacho cheese, you disgusting American pig dog?
Yeah, it was ready in the pizza portal. I put my little code in. I got this baguette. I had the nacho cheese in my car, dipped it right in, and it's delightful. Would you like to try some?
Oh, would you like to eat it with freedom fries because the French actually think about what they do on the political stage of the world?
You lost me. You lost me, my French friend.
Oh, shocking. That is why my world is on fire right now in France, because they tried to raise the retirement age, and you're like, oh, yes, please, fuck me in the butt once more, politicians.
I mean, you do.
Americans say they are free and outlaws, and they do nothing. They roll over.
It's crazy, but this guy knows me. It's insulting, but it's also true, so...
That is the way the French.
The way of the French. Is the way of the French also websites? Do you guys got those over there?
No, we are too busy making cheese and wine and enjoying it with your Bryan Cranston, who retired from acting to be away from Americans, and now he lives in the south of France with us.
You know, you got some fun facts to throw out here, but
yes,
no.
I am French. I know everything that goes on in France.
Do you know about? Nope, I got nothing. Do you know about websites?
Oh, I guess I could talk about some more websites. Popfilter.co. See, the French don't say all the letters. So it's popfilter.co is where you can go to get everything that these pig dogs make. And then you throw a little /Amazon. Oh, you need your little piece of shit USB cable that will break in 2 weeks. You need it right away. You need it in 4 hours, even though it means somebody cannot pee and then they die and then they're just dead in their own piss and shit. But no, I need it. I need to shop at Amazon. Popfilter.co/Amazon. That's how you go get that now.
That is how I will go get that now. Thank you so much.
Pig dog.
Oh, websites complete? That's a wrap on French guy?
Website's done.
Website's done.
As my people say.
Well, you sound like a busy guy. I'll let you take this baguette and nacho cheese. You should really try it. It's a great combination. And now that Ryan's left, I would like to bring on a plumber who got into the line of business only because he sounds like that, not because he understands anything about toilets. And he's going to tell me about another show on the network.
Look, I would like to tell you right now about all the encyclopedias that I have read because of my dream job of reading encyclopedias. Can I tell you about that?
We got some time. You can tell me about that.
No, all you want to hear about is plunges. All day, all I hear about is, hey, buddy, tell me about plunges. How do they work? You know how they work? I don't fucking know. Stop, stop, stop. And then the poop comes out. What do you want me to say?
I mean, sometimes, but sometimes it's like not enough. Sometimes you use a plunger and your toilet's still broke.
Oh, I'm sorry that you don't know how to plunger works.
I mean, like, I feel like it's something, along the lines of like pushing water, but like who...
Absolutely not. I don't know how it works, but I know that you don't know how it works. I know that you know as little as I know a lot.
I have a question for you besides, what
is it that why is my butt crack always out? That's the way my butt crack was born, okay? My butt crack hangs out over my pants. It's a ledge. The top of my butt crack comes out over and then on top of the top of my pants. And so my poop goes into a circle back into my butthole, and I recycle my poop all the time. That's why I'm a plumber. That is why I'm a plumber.
That sounds like a rough life. I am so sorry for you and your confliction.
Hey, what do you have? A fucking fruit tree outside in your backyard?
Mm-hmm.
And is it a plum tree? Mm-hmm. Do you need somebody to come handle it? Now, that's going to be me, because I'm a fucking plumber. So I'll come over and take all the plums off your fucking plum tree.
I don't think that's what...
I will eat every single fucking plum right in front of you. And you could do whatever you fucking want for $50 an hour. I will eat every fucking plum. What do you want? You want to fucking sit in a kiddie pool? You want me to sit in a kiddie pool while I eat fucking plums all day? I'll fucking do it.
I mean, I don't want to challenge you. It sounds like you'll definitely fucking do this. I don't doubt that.
Do you want fucking plump sheep? Those are plump. I plumb them. What do you want me to advertise? Just tell me it so I can get the fuck off stage.
I think
I could stand to hear a little bit more about the plum. I'm still the French
This is
guy.
still French, yeah. This is still French.
Talk
for
about
sure.
the plums in the pool longer. It's sexual.
No, we can't play into this. I can't let him be having any enjoyment, but unless it's that baguette. I would like you to tell me about another show on the Pop Filter Network.
I didn't know that you just call him a baguette. I thought that was a derogatory term for people like that, but I guess you could just call him a baguette.
Yeah, he's a little
All
baguette, and he braguettes. And you're the plumber.
So while I'm changing pipes and fucking bitches, because I'm in every porn movie you've ever fucking seen, I am listening to the Superhero Ow Wow, and they talk about the Superhero Show, and they talk about all the TV shows that are based on comic. We're on that show right now. It doesn't fucking matter.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I'm listening to Movie of the Year where they talk about, right now they're talking about 1973, which was so fucking far in the past. That's the day my pubic hairs were born, if you know what I mean.
Not fully.
What? That joke always works with everyone I talk to.
My apologies. But yeah, that was...
Should I get off the stage now?
No, you are welcome to share the stage with me anytime, mainly because I'm scared of you as well. We do have also another guest to bring on. I have our new janitor, the new Pop Filter janitor, Paul, and he's here to tell me about social media. Paul, the janitor, please come on.
Hello, and thank you so much for inviting me on stage, Cassie.
Oh my God.
It is a pure delight to be here, and not just when I'm cleaning up after your shenanigans.
Well, this is the first time I've actually got to talk to you. I did not expect you to be such a dignified gentleman. Mainly because we hire buffoons here.
Yeah, I've noticed that. There are quite often buffoons coming in and out of the area, but I'm not here to judge. I'm here to clean up your trash, fill up your snacks, and then I would love it if anybody taught you how to use the toilet.
Me specifically, or kind of like all of us? Like
I'm using the royal.
Good. Okay, cool. Yeah.
But I'm guessing it's you're part of the problem.
I don't think so. I think I did really good at potty training time, but you kind of just pee a little bit like on the floor up to the toilet and then like around the toilet. I think I got it.
My dear, lovely, beautiful, stupid Cassie.
Yeah.
There's a seat. There's a seat for you to sit on. You do not need to start urinating on the floor.
But how
It's right in that watery hole.
how do you find your way to the toilet if you're not pissing your way to the toilet?
I'm sorry. Am I being offensive? Are you blind?
No, I have actually
Do your eyes not
I
work?
have pretty good vision, surprisingly.
Do the lights not work in the toilet?
No, sometimes I just don't
the
turn them
loo.
on though, because I'm worried about the electricity
Okay.
bill.
So either you turn the lights on the loo, or if it's late and you don't want to bust your eyes, you now I'm from South London. You use your phone, right? You have your phone on you at all times because you're not going to go to the bathroom without being able to stare at your Twitters. So you have your phone and you use that as a light, and you walk up to the toilet. I'm sorry, my upbringing comes out. My upbringing comes out when I get annoyed, and I cannot believe you don't know how to use a loo.
No, it's just like, I mean, I could use my phone, but what if I drop my phone in the toilet? I'm not going to risk that. Like, I could just pee in the dark and pee the whole time up to the toilet. But you did mention a social media. You mentioned the Twitters.
Well, I'm very professional.
You are indeed.
I'm calming down.
You're back. You found your zen.
So I'm remembering my training.
You're centered here. Can you please tell me about social media?
I believe I'm just a lonely janitor, but I do believe that at your pop filter on the Instagram is where everybody knows you will be. Twitter is dying, but for the next week, probably until one of you who's in charge of that remembers to delete it. You're at your pop filter there. And you did, I believe, you skeeted once on Blue Ski.
Yes.
But you are definitely on Instagram at your pop filter.
Thank you so much, Paul. Thank you so much for the great work you do around the studio. I hope you stay around
Thank
because you're doing great work here.
I would just love for you to learn how to use it too.
I just don't know if that's going to happen. We also got an email, though, you guys. Contact at popfilter.co. Contact at popfilter.co. Go ahead and email us. That is it, though, for Mike. I'm Ryan. No, guys. Next week. I got to tease next week's episode. I almost forgot. I got to bring you back. Next week, we're going to be discussing the penultimate episode of Secret Invasion. Also, the return of the Shushies, everybody's favorite time of the year. So, for Mike, I'm Ryan. For Ryan, I'm Mike. For me, I am me. For Caitlin, I am me. Bye, everyone.
I'm glad she brought us back on stage for that.